Pokemon battles are usually about being the strongest and winning, but I just like using my favorites. And I want to use Piplup, my first ever starter and also my first ever Pokemon. Piplup's only attack is Nap, which you aren't winning games with. It doesn't do any damage, but it's 1, really cute to imagine, and 2, really funny to do in front of your opponents. In the midst of what should be an intense battle, all Piplup wants to do is sleep. So today we're fulfilling Piplup's wish. I want Piplup to be well rested by getting the recommended 9 hours of sleep. But instead of hours, the goal is to use Piplup's Nap attack 9 times in a random battle. It's a really important goal. Except the players in random battles are playing to win, and they won't just let Piplup sleep in peace. We'll have to somehow convince them to not attack us. But can we even do that? Without any in-game chat or emotes to use, communicating seems impossible. But there is one way to send a message, and you see it at the start of every battle. If we make our profile as friendly as possible, maybe our opponents won't disturb Piplup's sleep. Maybe. This means we'll take away our win streak emblems, match our profile picture, and change to the friendliest possible tagline. With the perfect profile and an 18 trainer deck, Piplup and I were ready to tackle the toughest challenge yet, getting 9 hours of sleep. Our first opponent and potential friend was Shmuel, and they seemed happy to meet us. Piplup got a couple naps in before Shmuel sent Vaporeon up to ruin the sleep schedule. But it wasn't over yet, since we had another Piplup tagging in to finish nap time. Vaporeon would have knocked out that one too if it wasn't for Blue letting us barely survive. And the longer Piplup survives, the more sleep it can get. Our fallen Piplup came back to life thanks to the Elder, and our active Piplup snuck one more nap in before it had to leave. With only one Piplup left, things were looking pretty doomed until we finally drew our Giant's Cape. Now with 80 health, Piplup can nap, survive Vaporeon, and heal all the way to full health with Irida and another nap. Nothing could stop this super Piplup from reaching its sleep goals, except Starmie. Starmie could definitely stop us. You might be wondering why Pokemon Communication and X Speed are in the deck when Piplup is our only Pokemon. After fixing the deck, I matched into Grateful Dane, who likes Gen 5 Pokemon. I sent out my Piplup and Dane sent out the God of Time. Dane powered up Dialga turn after turn, marching towards Dialga's most powerful attack, but surely the God of Time would respect nap time. Our record was still only 5 naps, and 5 hours of sleep is not quite a healthy amount. So I kept going and matched into a max level Chinese player, but they were also glad to meet us, so maybe this was the game. This was the worst game by far. I never found my second Piplup, so I could only get 4 naps in. By this point, I realized that nice to meet you might just be the default tagline, and ... may not actually be glad to meet us. But then this happened. Piplup won. This was victory. I always knew Piplup could do— Wait, what was our goal again? I kept searching for someone that would let Piplup nap in peace. Maybe it was Tevin, the pro deck builder. It wasn't. Maybe it was Jay, who wanted us to go easy on them. They didn't go easy on us. Maybe it was furry bacon? I can't imagine eating that, and yeah, this was still not the one. Finding the right opponent was going to take a lot of luck, and at this point I was willing to try anything and everything. Any crazy deck combination to confuse our opponent or somehow increase our luck for no reason at all. I tried Piplup with the other starters for moral support. I tried Piplup with my immersive cards, hoping the luck would transfer. I tried Piplup with all the EX cards I've pulled from the newest set, which is just Leafeon, and that didn't work either. After many more failed attempts, I decided that simply hoping for good luck wasn't enough. I would have to force my opponents to let Piplup nap. In order for Piplup to sleep, I needed to put my opponents to sleep. It was time for the secret weapon. This was surely going to work. It still didn't work. I was starting to lose hope. It had been hours without any success in sight, and I was almost starting to give up. But I couldn't give up. What would I do if Piplup never got the quality sleep that it needs for good health and to grow strong? I couldn't just give up on my very first Pokemon ever. I had to try one last time. Our last attempt would be Piplup paired with my rarest cards, and I matched into a Japanese player who was confident at flipping heads. They led with only Hitmonchan, but that was a sign that more damage would be on the way. I evolved to Super Piplup and benched the first part of my strategy. From here, it was a back and forth. A jab from Hitmonchan, a nap from Piplup, another jab, and another nap. On the 6th turn, my opponent finally benched a Skull Fossil, which I knew would eventually evolve into an unstoppable Rampardos. Piplup's time was limited. As I evolved into Charmeleon and napped again, my opponent evolved as well. After one more nap, Rampardos was finally here. If my opponent retreated, Rampardos could easily sweep all of my Pokemon and end the game in an instant. They could have the win right here, but that's not what they had in mind. Instead of using their strongest Pokemon, they kept Piplup alive. It seemed like they were going to help us. I evolved and now both Charizard and Mew were here for support. My opponent could change their mind at any moment, but they continued to keep Piplup alive. Maybe they also cared about Piplup's sleep. Or maybe they were really confused and felt sorry for me. Either way, my opponent was letting Piplup sleep in peace. After many back and forth turns, Piplup had finally gotten 9 naps. But that wasn't even the end. My opponent let Piplup get up to 12 naps, which was perfect for a growing baby Piplup. Our goal was complete, and Piplup was finally well rested. Of course, too much sleep isn't good for you either. Piplup's nap time eventually came to an end, but I like to think that we made a friend in the process, and learned a valuable lesson. If you queue random battles for long enough, you can eventually get away with the weirdest goals. Thanks for watching.